On the fifth day of creation, according to Genesis, God created sea life and the bird life, and on the sixth day of creation, animal life as well as people, and on the seventh day, God rested, which is the basis for people resting. And there's a verse. How many are your works, O God? All of them you have made with wisdom. The earth is full of your creations. The verse from the book of Psalms. And this is teaching, according to the Malbim, that what does it mean that God's creation is great? It means that God created 10 million species. God created a diversity of species. And so the main message of this infographic is that creation reflects and testifies to the greatness of God. God could have created a few species, but no, God created 10 million species, and we've only identified 2 million of them. And so here you see at the bottom, people think that a desert is bereft of life, but here we can see a whole ecosystem, a desert ecosystem that exists. So that's the first page of the infographic. And the second page relates to Noah's Ark. And I won't go into all the teachings here, you can see it on your own, but the Noah's Ark is a paradigm of a person who was a steward for all of creation. All the species, according to the Torah, were on that ark. And Noah cared for all the animals. And it even says that Noah and his children didn't sleep at all during the year they were on the ark because they were they were up all night caring for the animals. Okay? And then we can see here there's 7 groupings of animals, and at the bottom that there's a verse from the book of Job that God teaches us by the animals of the earth and makes us wiser by the birds of the sky. So the Jewish tradition says that we can learn from animals, that animals can teach us something. Well, what can they teach us? According to the ethics of the ancestors, be brazen like a leopard, light like the eagle, swift like the deer, and mighty like the lion to do the will of God. All these animals have character traits, and we can learn from them. That's just one example of learning from animals. There's a third infographic, that these are 7 verses, and Rabbi Rosen mentioned a couple of them, about Jewish relating to animal welfare, Jewish laws and verses from the Bible on animal welfare. I'll just give you one example, that if the basis for the Jewish law on not causing pain to animals is the second one here. When you see the donkey of your enemy lying under its burden and would refrain from helping it, you must nevertheless raise it with him. So that if there's an animal suffering, because before fossil fuels, before cars, people used donkeys to transport things, and if that animal is suffering and its burden is too much, it's fallen over, you need to help your enemy to do that. And that's the whole basis for Jewish law. And here Rabbi Rosen quoted this verse from Psalms, God is good to all and his mercy is upon all works. So here at the bottom you can see that in olden times this whole system used to be different. As you know, the people would have a cow and a chicken, and they would milk the cow and get the eggs from the chicken. It would be a personal relationship with the animals. But in our times, the factory farming system is totally different. And here you can see that it used to be that people would eat meat like once a month. But in our times, with the industrial system, some people are eating meat 2 or 3 times a day. Or some people are eating meat, 20 servings of meat a week. And it's totally gotten out of balance. And the last one here it begins with a verse from Genesis. And that God said in Genesis 1:29, see, I give you every seed-bearing plant that is upon all the earth, and every tree that has seed-bearing fruit, they shall be yours for food. So the vision of the infinite one, of the divine, was, in the beginning, the first chapter of Genesis, that people should eat a plant-based diet. That's what it looks like. Okay, this is like a raw plant-based diet. And Rav Kook, the first chief rabbi of pre-state Israel, said that it isn't just a coincidence that God said in the first chapter of Genesis to people, eat plants, and then in the next verse God said to animals, eat plants, and the Torah says, and it was so. That was the reality for the first 1,500 years of human history. And Rav Kook says that we're going to return to this, and that humans are going to return to a plant-based diet, and that humans, through doing that, will lead to the enlightenment of animals as well. We're going to be involved in that process. And here you can see 7 food groups. When the animals are liberated from the food groups, then all you have left are beans, oil, grain, nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables. Thank you. Okay.